The ONOQ Western Turkic Khaganate was a Turkic Khaganate formed as a result of the internecine wars in the beginning of the 7th century after the Göktürk Khaganate had splintered into two polities, Eastern and Western. The Western Turks initially sought friendly relations with the Eastern Roman Empire in order to expand their territory at the expense of their mutual enemy, the Sassanid Persian Empire. The Western Turks were also known as the Onogas or Onohurs, from the Proto-Turkic Onoq, and Aro was a name for one division of the Turkic tribes. History. For the origin of the Onoq, two contradicting accounts are given. In the beginning, after 552, Shidi Istami followed the Shani Khan and commanded the 10 great chiefs. Together with their 100,000 soldiers, he marched to the western regions and subdued the barbarian statelets. There he declared himself his Khan, under the title of 10 tribes, and ruled them, the western barbarians, for generations. Tongdian 193 and Dutangshu 194. Soon after 635, Dialishi Khan of the Western Göktürks divided his state into 10 parts, and each was headed by one man. Together they made up the 10 Shad. Every Shi is given an arrow by him, thus they were known as the 10 arrows. He also divided the 10 arrows into two factions, each consisted of 5 arrows. The left-east faction consisted of 5 Duolu tribes, headed by 5 Qur separately. The right-west faction consisted of 5 Nushibi tribes, headed by 5 Sijan Erkan separately. Each took command on one arrow and called themselves as the 10 arrows. Thereafter, each arrow was also known as one tribe, and the great arrowhead as the great chief. The 5 Duolu tribes inhabited to east of Suya water, and the 5 Nushibi tribes to the west of it. Since then, they called themselves as the 10 tribes. Tongdian 193 and Dutangshu 194. The first statement dates their origin back to the beginning of the first Turkic Khaganate, with Istami, younger brother of Tuman, who had brought with him the 10 tribes, probably from the Eastern Khaganate at Mongolia, and left to the west to expand the Khaganate. The exact date for the event was not recorded, and the Shani here referred to might be Mahan Khan. The second statement contributes it to Dialishi, who took over the throne in 635 and began to strengthen the state by further affirming the initial 10 tribes and 2 tribal wings. In contrast with the rotation of rule between the Tuman and Istami lineages in the Western Khaganate, thereafter, the name 10 tribes became as a shortened address for the Western Turks in Chinese records. However, it should be noted that those divisions did not include the 5 major tribes, who were active further east of the 10 tribes. The earlier tribes consisted of 8 primary tribes ruled by 10 chiefs in command, afterwards called the Onoq. They were the 5 Duolu tribes, and the 3 Nushibi tribes. The relationships between the 10 tribes and the ruling elites were divided into 2 groups. The more aristocratic Duolu tribes, who held the title Qur, and the lower-rated Nushibian West, who were probably initially made up of Tyler conscripts. During the Reformation, the more powerful Nushibi tribes such as Azigi and Gishu were subdivided into 2 tribal groups with a greater and lesser title under a fixed tribal name. In 619 the Western Turks invaded Bactria but were repulsed in the course of the Second Perso-Turkic War. During the Third Perso-Turkic War, Khagan Tung Yafu and his nephew Borishad joined the forces with Emperor Heraclius and successfully invaded Transcaucasia. The Khaganate's capitals were Navakat and Suya, both situated in the Chui River valley of Kyrgyzstan, to the east from Bishkek. The Khaganate was overrun by Tang Chinese forces under Su Dingfang in 658–659 during the Tang campaign against the Western Turks.